Let's see who we can get. Come on, man, like move. Get me in the right place. No, not like that. So yeah, I need to be like that. All right, if you're in the house, let me know. You, wherever you are. Yeah? So yeah. I haven't done a live stream in a long time. In a long, long time. Let's go to live. Well, I'm here to answer your questions. Insightful nomads out there, if there are any. I hope to upload a video today about what happened, but also just in general about what I've been up to lately and why I've made changes to my channel. So I very much hope that there is someone in there, out there, who will say something about, show their faces and so forth. But yeah, I mean, the attack that happened today in Jerusalem, that's the type of thing I used to cover, right? Here's the thing I used to cover in the news. So they used to send me to go out there. They used to send me out to the site where the attack happened to like interview people, interview the police, interview the medical services, and all those type of things. Like this is what I used to do, yeah? Now I'm commentating from my from my room, so it's a little bit different. But how many victims feel today? It's horrible, says Newt. Yeah, so we're talking about 6 people who were killed. Injuries, probably 12. I don't know how seriously. That's like according to the information that I have. So yeah, I mean, it was quite a serious attack. I don't know if you saw the footage. There's footage where they open fire and you see people that they start to kind of run away and all that. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty bad. It's the type of thing we've seen many times in the past. Next to where I used to live in Jaffa, there was a similar attack where the gunmen, they waited outside the train coming into the light rail, and then they started opening fire on the people there and killed 7 people or 8 people. I don't remember the exact amount, including a woman who was holding her baby. They shot her, murdered her. Yeah, this is what we're dealing with here. Tupac, West Side, Oregon. I saw there was a man who walked toward the gunfire. I don't know which video that was, but you see a video where there's 2 people who are going towards the gunfighter. That might have been the guys who themselves had guns, right? Like armed civilians who were there to try to neutralize the attacker, right? But I don't know. I have to look into it a little more. I just kind of did this live stream a bit on a whim because I miss the live streams a bit. Yeah, and kind of been going through some tough times here. So was just hoping to see some of like the familiar faces who used to show up in my live streams all the time that I haven't seen for a while. But I mean, this is still an ongoing event. 2 West Bank Palestinians behind the attack at Ramot Junction. Off-duty soldier, armed civilians shoot attackers dead. IDF raids their home villages. Yeah, so that's, they were neutralized by armed civilians, right? That's something that happens a lot in Israel, where it's not the actual official people on duty with a gun who are armed to neutralize, but it's some civilian who happens to be armed and is in the area. Because when something happens, it takes time until security arrives, and sometimes before the security arrives, there is someone there already who has a gun or has something, and he's able to go and neutralize the attackers, and that's what happened here. How much US dollars is a decent apartment in Jerusalem or Samaria? I don't know. I'm not a real estate agent, but it's a lot. In Jerusalem, in Samaria, like in the West Bank, as it's called, it's going to be a lot less, yeah. In the territories, as they call it, or the occupied territories, according to some people. Timo says shalom from Finland. See there's a dude that I remember from the good old days. Timo, I remember your name, so it's good to see you. Yeah, it's nice. Says shalom from Finland. How's it going over there in Finland? Good to see you. Anyway, if any of you guys also want to say, I think Israel is less expensive than the USA, but only by a little bit. Purple cuts. All right. Anyway, if any of you guys also have some questions about the channel, why I made the changes to the channel, then please ask away and I will answer. Newt says, I love you, bro. Thank you. Yeah. Oriel says, tell us about the complexities related to the religious community and carrying guns. I was afraid there wouldn't be a lot of armed people, which would take longer for them to be neutralized. Oriel, says Oriel. How are you doing, Oriel? Miss you. The complexities related to the religious community and carrying guns? Well, I don't know. I mean, depends which religious community, right? If you're going Orthodox Jews, especially the ones who are in the West Bank, they are the ones who have, they'll have guns. They'll carry guns very often. Ultra-Orthodox communities don't carry guns so much. Ramot has become an ultra-Orthodox area in Jerusalem, so they wouldn't have necessarily the guns to defend themselves there. Like same in Bnei Brak, right? If you went to Bnei Brak and started opening fire, you're probably not going to find too many armed people there, I don't think. Certainly not in a place like Mea Shearim in Jerusalem or Ramot in Jerusalem. These are ultra-Orthodox areas in Jerusalem. But in the end, still, you had armed people there. It's funny, Israel is like the dream of all the gun-carrying support, the guys who support the Second Amendment in the U.S., right? All the people who are, love the guns in the U.S. Because, like, Israel is just, it's the perfect example of responsible gun ownership. Because so many times, you have here attacks that are neutralized by civilians with guns. Like it's so many lives are saved by it, and there's almost very few cases of someone with a gun just kind of like misusing it, as we see in the U.S. so many times, where they go and they start shooting up a school and that kind of thing. Like it doesn't happen in Israel very often. But of course, the situation here is different because you have people who used to be in the military, they're proficient with guns, they're responsible, they get a license properly. Like in the US, you can just walk into a store and buy a machine gun, which is crazy. But, I'm just saying, okay, like here in Israel, the responsible citizens with guns, it's a lifesaver. It's a lifesaver in this country. Absolutely. Oriel says, the soldier that was from the Hashmonaim unit is rare. What is the Hashmonaim unit, by the way? If you may expand on that. Anyway, someone asked, what are the changes? So, the changes obviously are violent crimes have gone down constantly in the U.S. since the 80s. Okay, that's nice. But you still have a ton of mass shootings. Like shooting attacks happen in America a lot, and it's bad, right? And I do think part of it has to do with the fact that it's just very easy for any random person at a short notice to get a gun. It would be better if like in Israel, I was in the military, right? So I handled guns when I was in the military like anyone else. And then when I wanted to get a license for a pistol, I had to do a whole course. and I had to, get a license and pay for a license and all that to get a pistol, like be licensed on a pistol. And I'm a young, healthy guy. I'm still healthy and still kind of young, I hope. Not as young as I was then. And yeah, I just come out of the military and I still had to go through many more procedures than some dude in the US just going into a shop and buying a gun. But I mean, we're kind of deviating from the subject here. It's just like, this is like, again, these civilians carrying guns in Israel, they just save so many lives. And hats off to them for going around with the guns. I mean, because it's annoying to go around with a weapon. You have to also like look out for it all the time and it's responsibility because you can misuse it. But it's like, they save lives. Olea says, if not for the rarity of the Orthodox guy in Hashmonai Muneh, which is why they rejected Orthodox, they wouldn't be as safe that today, she says. The rarity of the what is the Hashmonai Muneh? It's like an ultra-Orthodox military unit or something? Is that the new ultra-Orthodox military unit? I know there's the Netzach Yehuda, which is like an infantry unit of ultra-Orthodox in the military, but I haven't heard of Hashmonaim. But, so yeah. It's a unit of Orthodox, yeah. All right, so, yeah. What type of music you listen to? I listened to tons of Coldplay in the past. And now it's like, I don't know, Chris Martin. I don't know if you guys saw the video of Chris Martin doing that shtick with the Israelis, and he's like, oh, I'm treating you as human. Look, I'm treating you as human, even though you're from Israel, I'm treating you as human. And yeah, so I don't know, I'm gonna have to, I just like, for me, it's like, okay, fine, whatever. I could even listen to a Kanye West song, potentially. Like, I'm not gonna support him, I won't buy anything of his. But I could like go into YouTube and listen to a Kanye West song, even though he's a raging anti-Semite, yeah? Lilac, is there any way to send you fan mail? Fan mail. Isn't that a bit outdated? Like isn't that from the 90s or something? You can send me an Insta message or a message, or you can reply on YouTube. I'll try to answer, so. But yeah. Victor Holland, God bless Israel. Anyway, Purple Cots is saying what changes? Well, if you've been looking at my channel, you notice that I'm starting to do like commentary videos and reaction videos. I had this conflicting opinion about it and still do, in the sense that I think I built something very, very unique with my channel, with the travels and the type of places that I went to. And I was also able to get like some people from both sides of the aisle, like Israelis, but also like Muslims and Arabs were watching my channel to a certain degree. I like both travel and commentary videos, says Tupac. Yeah, so that's the thing. So yeah, I was doing that, and I had a lot of like pride in what I did and what I made. But the problem was that it was kind of unsustainable, It's like, especially when you're back in Israel, and now I'm not traveling full time. I decided I'm not gonna travel full time anymore because, I wasn't making enough money to do it, and it's exhausting to travel all the time, especially when your budget is so low. Yeah, I think it's a little easier to travel when you're making good money, and then you can like stay in nicer places, and you can make your life a bit easier. Take some taxis and take some this and eat out and things like that. This is like what these very successful vloggers do, and then your life kind of becomes good. But if you're just throwing yourself in the cheapest guest house hostel at every time, and you only use public transport, and you take and you're just like cooking and living off the cheapest street food all the time. That's how I was able to do what I did. And it's kind of, it becomes a suffering rather than a success or fun at some point, yeah. And so yeah, I was just kind of like, and also I used up a lot of the, destinations in the kind of the genre I was doing as the Israeli in the Muslim country. So I'd been to Egypt, Morocco, Saudi Arabia, Indonesia, Malaysia. So I kind of ran out of places, yeah, to go and do. And I could use my second passport and go to a place like Tunisia, but it's like enough is enough, right? Of this hiding my identity in these places and being nice. And then, in the comments, everyone attacking and cursing me. It's like, I got kind of tired of it. So I had to decide what to do. And originally, when I came back to Israel, I was able to get some freelance work as a reporter back at the old channel I used to work. And then like try to do some more vlogging here in Israel, worked on my book, which is coming out soon. I just need like help formatting it for Kindle and print. I don't know if anyone knows how to do that, but yeah, I'm working. It shouldn't be that hard, but it's kind of like I have a mental block on it. So, you know, that's it. So yeah, it's kind of like I just can't keep traveling full time. I can't make vlogs in Israel really full time. Lost a lot of the shifts that I had at the job, so I wasn't getting enough from there. So it's kind of like, okay, the whole thing is dead, right? Like it's either get a full-time job and once in a while as a hobby do vlogs in Israel or abroad, or try to like transform the channel into something that has a potential to make a profit by changing like the system. And you know what I know is, and the people I'm working with and making these, you know, helping with the thumbnails and stuff and helping me find the viral clips to react to, hopefully this will do well. And you know, I know people who succeed doing this format, and you can just like in a video that would take me 2 whole days to make in the past, right? Which is a whole day of traveling to a location, filming, like I did with Oriel here in the chat, and we did a great video in Jerusalem. But it's like a whole day to film, and then it's a whole day of, you know, to edit and to thumbnail and to upload and to do all that stuff. So it's like 2 whole days of work, and you know, you'll be lucky if you break even on that, right? With all your expenses that you have in Israel. Actually, that video that I made with Oriel was like very successful. It made me a decent amount of money, maybe like $500, which is rare for a video to make that much for me. But you know, that's like in best case scenario, it's like, okay, you did okay. But like realistically, that's just not a format you can follow here. So yeah, it was disappointing for me in that sense that I had to change, and you know, I've lost some people who used to follow me vigorously, and I can see it here in the live stream. I have a lot less people in the live stream. So yeah. How big is Israel's homeless population? Not that big. We don't have that many homeless here. We have some, but not that many. Shalom, I live in Iran. We Persians stand with people of Gaza. All right, you say shalom, and then I stand with Gaza. That's kind of cool. Okay, fine, that's fine. Like, you know, I don't know what standing with the people of Gaza means. If you have sympathy for them, then that's okay. I too, but you know, if you want Hamas to retake power, or Israel to like sign a ceasefire without getting all the hostages back, then that's kind of a problem. Purple Cat says, I felt some of your new stuff was petty, but also necessary to talk about. I thought the commentary was good. It'd be cool to see Jewtown in India and the kibbutz. Yeah. Well, Jewtown in India would mean going to India. Maybe that will happen at some point. Petty, yeah, I guess the Greta Thunberg stuff is a bit petty, you know, but it's just funny. I mean, she's so stupid and attention-seeking and like everything that's wrong with the dumb liberal woke, that it's kind of like hard not to make a video about her and make fun of her. But you're right, like that's not the most important thing for sure. What can you do? But again, you have to do a little bit what you need to do in order to get the views and stuff. So yeah. But anyway, yeah, I mean, I do hope, you know, I looked at the analytics of my channel, and the analytics of my channel show that like a lot of, even before I started doing this, a lot of people who are watching my channel were watching this type of content already, right? So it's kind of like, that's already what a lot of the people are watching. My loyal viewers tend to be supporters of Israel. And so, you know, that those people will stay with me if I make these kind of videos, I would hope. So it's kind of like, yeah, I'm hoping to keep a large amount of my audience and get a bunch of new ones. But so far it's not exactly happening that way. So it's been going like not well enough as I'd hoped. But we're gonna keep marching on and see how it goes, you know. Come to the US, you could do so much, says Tupac, West Side, Oregon. I don't know what doing so much means, but yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Again, it's like the vlog, it's just, the vlog thing, it's kind of, vlogging in general has become kind of not so great anymore, you know? Because the market is so saturated, so everyone is doing these provocation stuff, and doing the same kind of content. You know, it's like, what can $10 get you here and here? This girl takes me to the hood, the most dangerous neighborhood, and blah blah blah. Like, it's like the Taliban in Afghanistan. Everyone's kind of like doing the same thing already. It's kind of become, you know, I feel like, yeah, I mean, just the vlogging sphere is not, it's not great, in my opinion. Like, some of the stuff that I would do, yeah, I feel great about, but like a lot to succeed, it would end up being, you know, it's not going to be like my ultimate creative project, like a lot of the things I've done until now, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, and a lot of the other videos that I made, anyway, right? So if I'm not like pursuing the vlogs as I really want to do them, then maybe, okay, so you can go into something like commentary, which is not as exciting or as unique as vlogging for sure, but is also something that people like to see, and it's kind of more, the model is better, because to make a commentary video, which is kind of like the live stream now, I just need a camera, I just need to sit here, maybe a microphone. I can attach my mic to my computer right now. I can't attach it to my phone, so I'm talking without a microphone, but it's like easy to do, you know? So you can potentially make a lot of videos, and those videos have potential to make a lot of money. So it's just like the model works, right? It's good. As opposed to the vlogging model, which is problematic, because you spend so much time going out in the field, and so much time editing, and so much time this for each video. It's like, you know, the amount of time to make one video is just a lot of time. And you're never gonna pay back, right? Just never. Like, even if you get, even if the video, like, unless the video is making you, you know, is getting 250,000 views or something like that, it's not gonna pay itself back. Like, very unlikely. So yeah, it's just a lost cause. If you're traveling in cheap countries, then it's a bit better, because, oh, wait, what happened here? You're traveling in cheap countries, your expenses are so low. That's how I survived until now, because, you know, you're spending $25 a day max. Then even on very low income, you can do it. And that's an adventure of traveling. But then it's kind of like, what's the next stage, right? Like, after 2 years of vlogging, which is where I was, you're kind of, then, you know. Purple Cat says, I think the commentary is good. You have unique views as an Israeli Jew. Thank you. Do you keep kosher? No, not really, no. YoCap says, I guess petty gets clicks, but I didn't view anything you've done as such. So, thank you, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I try not to, even, you know, if the thumbnails are a little bit like clickbaity and petty, maybe you can say, I try to deal with serious issues, right? Think about doing more shorts. Yeah, I can now. Maybe in this format, shorts will work better. Before, my experience was just that kind of shorts it doesn't make any money, and it doesn't really grow your audience. Like, people watch shorts, they don't remember who you are, and it can even move your channel into like the algorithm of shorts rather than long content. Like, it's just not, I don't know, like there's different theories about it now, about if shorts is even good for your channel or not. Because there was a point where I was like, okay, I'm gonna upload shorts all the time, and then, you know, people told me, just don't upload shorts, it will just hurt your channel. And you can see in the vlogging sphere, a lot of the big vloggers don't do shorts, right? Like someone like Bald and Bankrupt, who's one of the biggest vloggers, he doesn't do shorts. Someone like Sabbatical, he doesn't do shorts. So it's not always good for every channel, right? I think for maybe in this format of the reaction videos and the petty, then a short could actually do well, but, you know. Thanks for serving in the IDF, says Tupac. Splat says, have you considered re-uploading your content on other platforms for extra income? Like, platforms like what? And what income are we talking about? Because the only other really long form content that could maybe work is something like Rumble, but there isn't really, I mean, there's Vimeo, I guess. TikTok, yeah, I mean, there was a point where I was like, okay, I'm gonna do a big TikTok campaign. And I just ended up not doing it because, I don't know, every time I uploaded something to TikTok, it never worked. Like, I never got views on TikTok. I never got more than 200 views on a TikTok video. So it was kind of like, and I uploaded like 20 or 30 of them. And then I was just like, okay, F it, you know? I hate TikTok. I know it's another effing platform. I don't want to do it. But yeah, probably should, it's worth. I have all these shorts. I could, upload 100 TikTok videos, including ones that could go viral. But for example, my video of getting kicked off a motorbike in Egypt, which has been uploaded to Twitter and stuff and gotten millions. I don't know if you saw recently, but there's a huge Twitter account called Internet Hall of Fame, where they again uploaded my motorbike video and it got 7 million views. 7 million views. I didn't see a cent of that, yeah. But it's like, and when I uploaded that same video on TikTok, it got like 80 views. It's like, I don't know, I don't know what to say. Hello from Greece, brother. How's it going? Good to see you. So yeah. But anyway, yeah, I just, I hope I didn't disappoint some of the people who really, I was creating I think what was very unique, hard worked content with editing and all that. And, now it's transitioning to something else. So lots of TikTokers move to YouTube for long form. I don't see any YouTubers moving to TikTok. Well, the thing about TikTok is just really hard to make money, right? So you can get like 2 million views on a TikTok video and that's worth not a lot, Whereas on YouTube, 2 million views is a lot of money. A lot, like in the thousands of dollars, depending, whatever. But I do suggest all vloggers to avoid hysterical AI thumbnails. I avoid them like a plague. Yeah, I mean, it depends. I have some very successful thumbnails that I made where I used some AI to help. So it's kind of like, so for example, my video of Israel's biggest slum, I used the background that I made in that video. It has 100,000 views, is with AI. And it has like a 9% click-through rate, which is good. My Saudi Arabia thumbnail is also with AI. And like I did a test versus a non-AI and the AI background did better. So I don't know, like it depends. Geraldine says, Shalom, Wubitu Tamrat. Hi, Alec. Wubitu Tamrat. Where are you from? Is that Ethiopia? Hey, from England. Love your content, says Shay. And Sabel. How's it going, guys? Timo says, how people in Israel generally view military service. Are there people who try to avoid it? If you don't serve in the military, is it very hard to find work? Splat says, one content creator mentioned that his channel was essentially dead for the first 2 years and suddenly the algorithm drew traffic to all his videos. Okay. So Timo, first of all, about military service, is it hard to find work? Well, that's not really. First of all, we have the whole Arab population here who don't serve in the military, most of them. And that's kind of like just considered normal because of the the sensitivities for them. And there's, I see some people speaking about that, okay, fine, you don't have to serve in the military, but then you're not eligible to get all the benefits that the state gives, health care, Social Security and all that kind of thing. And then there's also just people, ultra-Orthodox who don't serve, even some secular people who don't serve. And, it's not a deal breaker in Israel, right, that you didn't serve. It's not like there are tons of people who get work and stuff who didn't serve. So it's kind of, there are people who are feeling like, it's a sucker's game, right? You spend all that time, effort, you put your life at risk, and you don't get that much in return, except for pride in serving your country. Ronnie Aganovich says, love Israel. Are you worried international isolation, reputation damage because of the war? Yeah, we're fighting a PR war all the time. And, yeah, we are getting isolated internationally because of the war. So that's a problem. On the other hand, letting Hamas win is also a problem. So you're in a problem. Cat Lady, hi. What are your political views? I'm Israel. I don't know. I mean, I'm like, in some things I'm kind of left-wing liberal, but in some things I'm very hawkish, right-wingish, right? I grew up in Israel in the left camp, in the peace camp. So all my family, friends of my family were all leftist people who voted. If you know about Israel, it's like voted Labor, voted Meretz. This is like the environment I grew up in. And I was kind of like the black cat in that environment because I was the most right-wing in a left-wing environment, even though by Israeli standards, I'm kind of center, right? So, but in the environment I grew up in, I was one of the few people who constantly, had objections. I was the one who was constantly saying that the Arabs don't want peace with Israel, the Palestinians don't want peace with Israel, the concessions won't work, You have to, like, I was always the black sheep. Like, I'm still the black sheep in the dinners and stuff, because I just, with me, it's kind of like, I'm not in the religious fundamentalist camp. So there's the right wingers in Israel, so to speak, who they want to build the settlements in the West Bank, and they want to build the third temple, and all this crap. So like, I'm not there. That's why I'm saying I'm a mix, because in some things, I'm like a liberal Tel Aviv person. I don't believe the centralized rabbi should control the marriage. And I don't want to persecute the gays. And I don't want to, like all this stuff that the religious right wing do. So I'm not there at all. But on the other hand, like in Tel Aviv, you have all these lovey-dovey, naive people who think that, our neighbors, they're just misunderstood or something. I'm like, no, that's not the case. Like, you're dealing with very people who are ideologically very ideological in their rejection of the state of Israel, in their support of terrorism and violence against the state of Israel. This is what you're up against. And, I'm seeing it now in Israel, and it's frustrating to see, because I feel like after October 7th, there was a bit of an awakening, right? So even the people who were PC, lovey, I live in Tel Aviv and do yoga and, have this view of the world, kind of woke up on October 7th. Like, they saw the footage, they saw the thousands and thousands of Gazans celebrating over the dead bodies of Israelis and all that stuff. And there was a bit of like, people, I felt like they got it. Like, people who didn't get it in the past got it. They got who the enemy is. And now I'm seeing a backslide, right? It's like hard for us old habits die hard, right? So I've seen people, it's kind of, okay, the shock of that moment has faded. The desire to end the war, which is understandable, has increased. The desire to do anything and everything to get all the hostages back is very strong. Just give them what they want, get the hostages. And that might be the correct move. I'm not saying not, but it's kind of like, I feel like people have become very, very naive again. Like, I go to the hostage square, and people are like, oh, it's all Netanyahu. Netanyahu is why we don't have the hostages back. Netanyahu is why we don't have peace. And it's like, so it's just, that's the point I'm trying to make, is kind of, I feel like people are backsliding into their own old kind of convenient naivety. And and I was never really like that. Like, I was always not naive, and I was always looking into the Palestinians and seeing what they're saying and doing, and the Arabs and everything. And I was like, this is not a movement of people who want to make peace with Israel, unfortunately. Like, if it was, I would say make the concessions, right? But it's not. And when I went to Egypt, I saw the same thing. Yeah? And you see it in my video. So that's the deal. Self-defense is not a hawkish position. Email says InfoWarrior. InfoWarrior. Yeah, I mean, you're right. There's hawkish, and then there's kind of like religious, biblical Israel stuff. I agree. I don't think I'm that hawkish. I think I'm hawkish by comparison to some people, in the sense that the way I view it is, you have a huge amount of people with whom you simply cannot compromise, that are against you, and you have to be effing strong against them and not give them an inch, because they want to kill you and destroy you. Like, so that's hawkish, right? So like, I don't think, if we just gave the Palestinians a bit more land and a bit more concessions, then they'll come around and we'll get along. It's like, no, that's not going to happen. So that is hawkish, right? I would say. You are just pragmatist, and you are not governed by ideology packages like most of people. This is the right thing. Yeah, I would hope so. Yeah, like, I try to be evidence-based, and this is also where my my journalistic background helps, right? Because I would try to investigate things and read into things and stuff like that. And when I read and look at what the Egyptians say, and what the Palestinians say, and what the Jordanians say, and what, when I see what they say, do, the ideology, like the whole package, it's very disturbing. Like, it's not about settlements. It's not about Netanyahu, the right wing. It's not about, we fundamentally, deeply believe, historically, religiously, everything, that Israel is this colonizing whatever state of evil foreigners who came and stole our land, and we're fighting a just war to get it all back. That's like what they believe. And I respect that. Like, I respect what people believe. Like, when people say something and believe in something and they act on that, it's like, you got to take them seriously. It's very patronizing when, okay, they come and say, we're going to destroy Israel, we're going to return, quote, to get right of return, the Jews are colonizers, the Jews are settlers, and then to go and say, well, they don't really mean that, they're frustrated. It's like, no, they mean it. They say it, they mean it. I take them seriously. That's it. Lazar Brody, I follow Sar TV in town and I ignore most of their videos because there's too much reaction saturation on my timeline, but they seem to be doing well, so go for it. Shalom, brother. Yeah, so that's, I'm working with some of the guys who work with them, and I saw their numbers. Tal is a good friend of mine. Anyone who's watched my show, we've done collabs together. And, I see his numbers, his income numbers, and they're insane. And I'm like, wow, I need to do this, right? So it's kind of, and you can call that, cynical opportunism. But I just see I see a method, right? Like I see not a method, but a format that works where you can easily make the content, doesn't take a lot of time, effort, and money to make it, and the return is very, very high. So, it's kind of like, why would you not go for that and instead be this like miserable, poor artist when even the vlogging world is becoming, So yeah, I mean, that's kind of part of my thought process. But also, I think that for me, like the red line as far as what I'm willing and not willing to do is if I actually believe what I say. Like that's where I'm not willing to compromise. So if someone told me, look, I'll give you 100,000 shekels a month, $25,000 a month to make these reaction videos, but you have to say A, B, C, then I wouldn't take it, right? I wouldn't. Like, that's the deal. So I'm saying that would be my red line. My red line would be to say a bunch of crap I don't believe in just for money. And I'm not doing that. Like, I'm saying what I believe in. As someone who came from a journalistic and less of a commentary background, a journalistic and vlogging background, then, I feel this a little bit pang of guilt that I'm not trying to kind of uncover things more, which is what journalists do and maybe vloggers do a little bit by like showing stuff that you see in the street and instead going into this reaction rabbit hole. But okay, lots of other people do it and now I'm doing it as well and I think I've earned it. So, in the end of the day, it's kind of, like I said, my red line is I say what I believe in. That's my red line. And as long as every word that comes out of my mouth, I can back up, right? As long as every word I say in a reaction video, I can look back even 5 years later and say, yeah, that was okay. Like, you can't hold that against me. You can't come to me a few years down the line and say, hey, you said this, you're a hypocrite. Like, no, I stand behind everything I say. And that's like the most important thing. And I feel like that, I haven't strayed from that. Since I started vlogging, since I started working as a journalist 8 years ago now, and now since I started making these videos. So, that's it. Which DJI Osmo do you use? 5. Number 5, yeah? Messiah, Red Moon. Thoughts on Jews calling everything anti-Semitic, making the term less meaningful. I would say it's, yeah, you can have the boy cried wolf story, where he says wolf, wolf, wolf as a joke. And then when the wolf comes, he says wolf and nobody listens. You do have to be careful of that with anti-Semitism, even though I think it's all over the place and insane, right? As someone who grew up never saying the word anti-Semitism ever and always saying that everyone was paranoid about it and it's not that big a problem, what I'm seeing now is like scary as hell. So yeah, I would say less, it's not that it's not true necessarily when you say it, but definitely choose your battles, right? Choose your battles in accusing people of being Jew haters. Don't go around all day saying Jew hater, anti-Semite, because then people run out of energy to listen to you. It's like, choose your battles, like if someone like Kanye West does a song called Heil Hitler and it's a big hit on Spotify, then you should go and say, look what this means. This is a guy who praises Hitler, he's a Jew hater, and he's getting millions and millions of views. And people might listen to you more. If the movie about Leonard Bernstein, in which Bradley Cooper used a prosthetic nose, and there was a whole thing about it on Twitter. I'm like, this is stupid. Okay, this is a waste of time. This is not what you should be using your energy on. So you got to choose your battles and calling out Jew haters. Like someone like Tucker Carlson now needs to be called out. I wouldn't say necessarily call him an anti-Semite, but you need to say you're a fucking hypocrite. Like you're a piece of bleep. That all day you're talking about Israel and the Christians and how much you care about Christians, but you never talk about all the persecution they go through in the Muslim countries. What's your agenda, man? Like, ask questions. And you could also, like, make the accusation that way, like, a little bit more subtle. Don't just say anti-Semite, anti-Semite. Say, like, why? Like, if you care about Christians and all you talk about is Israel and you ignore all the insane persecution going on in Christians, in the Middle East, then I question your motive. Like, so you don't really care about Christians. You're just ignorant, right? You have no idea that 70 Christians were beheaded in the Congo. You have no idea that Christian girls get kidnapped and Coptic girls in Egypt and converted to Islam. You have no idea what they're doing to the Christians and here. Like, you just don't know. You're completely ignorant. Or what is more likely is you're pushing some type of agenda. So what agenda are you pushing? Why are you ignoring these cases? Like that, those are things that need to be asked. And, on the big important stuff and the big influential stuff. And Tucker Carlson is, his platform is huge. I think he has like 13 million followers on Twitter, like 6-7 million followers on YouTube. His voice is insane. So that would be a place to put your energies into. Yeah. Wow, Swedish Girls on Adventures, Anna, with a big contribution. Thank you very much, Anna. I really appreciate it, as you know. So yeah, thank you for that. Tucker, what a goof, he's obsessed. My personal favorite YouTuber is Yosef from Israel Advocacy. He tries to connect with Arabs genuinely before exposing their hatred and ignorance. Faithful to Yeshua, be safe. Yocap says, you definitely are authentic, that's why we follow. Thank you. I will always support you and believe in your content, says Anna. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Yeah, definitely your support has been a huge help to me in my journeys, and you know how much I appreciate your support. Thank you. It's a very generous contribution right there. Is Pollard running for PM? No. Tucker is disappointing. Yeah, he's disappointing. And again, I used to follow him a bit. Like when he was on Fox News and he was calling out all the woke stuff and he would do these interviews and he would expose these woke idiots. I thought he was doing a good job. I thought he was persuasive. He was fun to listen to. He's talented for sure and he's charismatic. And he's just, he might be paid by Qatar. That's a possibility. Or he's just, he's just decided this is a profitable route for him to talk about the Jews, and he won't be the first or the last to do that. He is too shallow sometimes, seems yonder, and he screams like a child, but I like him generally. Are you talking about Tucker, where he goes, this crazy laugh, right? Insane laugh. I love your journalism. I think we have a lot of common interests, Alec. Thank you, Anna. The cat lady says, I'm talking about Naxtaku. I don't know who that is. Oh, yeah, and the stabbing of the Ukrainian refugee in the subway. That was insane. Yeah, oh, my God. Oh, my God. What a... I saw that. That lady, she was just stabbed for no reason. I mean, what the hell? Absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. And the media didn't talk about it at all. Because the stabber was black, so they didn't want to talk about it because then, black people would look bad, supposedly. But it was just crazy, yeah. Really, really crazy. How much more battery do I have here? 11%. Damn. I'm going to go into you know what I'm going to go into? Oh, wait. No, not that. What's going on here? Anyway, yeah, I am having a problem with the charger. Charging my light bulb here and the computer at the same time. They opened a fundraising for him, for the stabber? That would be crazy. Wow. But about Tucker, you should watch Ami Kozak's impression of. No, the best impression is this guy called Tony Lapidus. I don't know if you guys seen him. His name's Tony Lapidus on YouTube. His impressions are just the best. They are so good, so good. And he does it of everyone. He does of the right, the left. It's his impression of Tucker. It's like, wow, it's really. But Christians, you know, it's like he goes in that maniacal laugh and then he just resets. It's really funny. Unironically, the Ukrainian lady would have been safer in Russia. Emre, stay strong, Israel. Thank you. Someone says here, October made me start studying history about Israel and the Jews, and I'm so touched by your story, past and current. You're the good guys, never leave others tell you otherwise. Most importantly, get under your skin. Yeah, for sure. It's easy to lose confidence in yourself when everyone's attacking you all day. But my sister's a journalist. She says, don't believe journalism until you have personally fact-checked it. Maybe. Maybe. What's going on now with the Israel thing is that they've created like a very impenetrable web of references that so basically you can go to a book that references an article, that references a human rights report, that references the UN, that references the Hamas health ministry, yeah? Like, for example, that's a common thing. Because so many people are writing and talking about this stuff, that's like, there's this huge web of references that often go back to like a single thing that is extremely unreliable. But most people just don't have the capability or the time or, you know, whatever to like break this impenetrable net of authority. This is what someone called Einat Wilf, one of my favorite commentators on Israel, was talked about, I think in one of her YouTube videos or in one of her tweets, which is, they're very good because you have so many human rights organizations talking about the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, and they have these people that they bring who just testify and all this. There's so many references you can bring up to supposedly support, you know, anything that you want to support against Israel. Israel's an apartheid state, Israel committing genocide, anything. You can quote endlessly reports, right? So it creates this impenetrable wall of authority. Like if you wouldn't know better, if you didn't know about all the, you know, like the type of people that have hijacked groups like Amnesty International, whatnot, if you wouldn't know better, then you see, oh wow, look, they're citing the UN, they're citing human rights reports, they're citing a genocide organization, and all these things. And it seems like like there's so much authority behind the accusations but very often a lot of these accusations have very little authority behind them. But because of like the network of references, you know, it's like people get convinced by something very easily in that sense. Oh, the Israel haters have come in the chat now. What Tucker said is true. Even one of my friends who is Christian was spat on by Israel rabbi. Okay. You know, I don't know if you guys saw this guy, Yes Man, this British YouTuber who was in Israel that recently I made a video with. He went to Nazareth and he bought a cross and he walked all around Israel with his cross and nobody ever spat on him. I met him with his cross on, I saw him. So it's kind of whatever, like, it's so crazy. There's just so many thousands and thousands of pilgrims who come to Israel every year and have like a wonderful, wonderful experience here and don't experience any hatred. But, well, if you see one video on YouTube, then that must represent the entire thing, right? All right, time to charge my computer. Give me a second. There's something going on here, which is my charger isn't working very well. And Yeah, I am doing my best here to get this thing to work. So yeah. See, this computer, it's not charging. Maybe that's working. Okay. Anyway, yeah, this is part of the thing of like the content I was making with the Netue Karta and the Egypt. It was bringing in this kind of audience, which is in one way good because we have a discussion, but a lot of them are just, effing haters. And they're not the type of people that could lift my channel in the long term anyway, right? So it's kind of, that's also a consideration. I'll be in Israel in December or January. Jay from Texas. Good on you, Jay. It's so crazy. So many people are so upset you are killing children, according to Michael Mahoney. Well, it is kind of crazy when after they murdered over 1,000 people and took 250 people hostage, that there were a large amount of people out there who weren't mad at all, actually, when the Palestinians did that. Instead, they were from day one looking for excuses as to why it's really not big a deal or why it's actually Israel's fault. So, but whatever. And all this, like, the thing about this murdering women and children, they use this language, murdering women and children, slaughtering women and children. I would think at the very least, in order to make that accusation, at the very least, to start, your side should not be engaged in such acts. Okay? Before we get into analyzing the Israeli military performance in the Gaza over the last 2 years, which is a complex subject. Wouldn't, at the very least, if you go around constantly accusing Israel of murdering and massacring women and children, be prudent for your own side to not be engaged in massacring women and children, as they have been doing for the past 100 years, repeatedly, again and again and again? I talked about in the video I uploaded, there was a terror attack today in Jerusalem where they went and they started shooting people, including women and children. There was the light rail next to my house in Jaffa where they waited for people to get out of the train and they shot a woman holding her baby in her arm. Is that not massacring women and children? Do you know about the Coastal Road massacre that happened in the late 70s, which is why Israel got involved in Lebanon? Because they invaded from Lebanon, they hijacked a bus filled with school students and they murdered them, 37 people. What about the Ma'alot massacre when people from Hezbollah invaded Israel and they took hostage a nursery home in the 80s and ended up massacring all of those children over there? And there are so many cases like that. It's beyond, I lose count. I can name off the top of my head all these horrific murders and massacres. One of the worst ones was in Netanya, which is during a holiday, Passover, in an old age home. One of the guys working there blew himself up and killed like 29 people or something like that. Senior citizens, retired, old people, elderly people, for example. Kidnapping the Bibas mother and her 2 babies and then executing them in the dungeons of Gaza and then doing a grotesque ceremony of their funeral in Gaza. Remember that? And it goes on and on and on, the list of murdering and slaughtering women and children that the Palestinians have been doing forever. So I would say, why don't you start, the people who hate Israel so much, and the people who support the Palestinians unconditionally, why don't you start by condemning the Palestinians for murdering women and children consistently over the last 100 years and tell them to stop, okay? And before you go around accusing Israel of doing it, why don't you not do that yourself for a change? Like, well, how about Hamas refrain from massacring and murdering women and children? How about all the terrorists who go around shooting and murdering people stop murdering women and children? As they did today. As they did in the light rail next to my home that day. As they did in all the things that they've blown up and shot in Israel over the years. I accuse Israel of all of it, fine. Like I said, that's your problem, is that you use that type of language to describe Israel when that is precisely what the Palestinians have been doing for decades. And I just gave you off the top of my head like 5, 6, 7 examples. But it just rubs off you because you don't want to deal with it. You don't care about it. You just care about accusing the Jews. Does the terrorism Hamas justifies crimes against humanity? No. Crimes against humanity? No. But does Hamas holding hostages and vowing to continue to murder and kill Jews justify a war to defeat them? For them to lay down their arms and have a different government in Gaza and to get back the hostages? Yeah, it does. And the fact that they fight without uniforms from within hospitals and civilian areas and booby trap all the buildings and we're leading to the complete destruction of Gaza, then that means you have to stop? Then no. But for sure, the IDF has to comply with the law. It has to fight morally and do what it can to protect innocents, for sure. Tell me more, Mr. Jew, man. A different government in Gaza, yeah. A government not run by an internationally recognized terrorist organization affiliated with the Muslim Brotherhood, which is banned from all of the surrounding countries because they're so violent and fundamentalist, that doesn't want to destroy and annihilate Israel. This isn't a government of, oh, I don't like this political party. Yeah? This is an organization that says in their charter to wage jihad and murder all the Jews. And then it cites the hadith, you know, the line where it says the Jews will hide behind the trees and rocks, except for the Jewish tree, the garkad, saying, come, Muslim, there's a Jew behind me, come and kill him. So yeah, Israel, I think, has a right to completely wipe the face of the earth from those people. The talking tree hadith, as it's called, yeah. Yeah. That's the day they yearn for, right? Where they murder all of these Jews, and even the nature where the Jews are trying to hide, like behind trees, will come and say, oh, Muslim, come, there's a Jew here, come and murder him. This is the line they cite in their charter. So when we say government is being too nice to them. It's a problem when you have a terrorist government, when you have a government that completely controls the population like that is Hamas. What can you do? Talking trees now. How about the Smurfs? How about the talking trees? Go into ChatGPT and ask for the talking tree. He thinks I'm making it up. That's what's so funny. It's like you people are so stupid. The fact that you don't know what's going on, and this is cited in the Hamas charter. In the Hamas charter. Translate for me the hadith about the murder of Jews and the talking tree. ChatGPT. You are referring, this is ChatGPT, a well-known hadith that appears in Sahih Muslim. It's considered one of the eschatological traditions about the end of days. Here's a straightforward English translation without commentary, okay? And this appears in the charter of Hamas. I read, the hour will not be established until the Muslims fight the Jews. The Jews will hide behind stones and trees, and the stones and trees will say, O Muslim, O servant of Allah, there is a Jew behind me, come and kill him. But the garkad tree, a kind of thorny tree, will not say anything, for it is the tree of the Jews. Sahih Muslim, Kitab al-Fitan, hadith number 2922 in the Dur Salam numbering. There you go. Oh, but the Smurfs. Oh, the Smurfs. You are all criminally insane. I don't know. I just read something that appears in the Muslim hadith. The fact that you don't want to listen is not my problem. Garkad ain't no snitch. Garkad is no snitch, hug a tree, says Jacoba. Yeah. My favorite tennis player, because I love to play tennis, my favorite tennis player, Novak Djokovic, I don't know if you guys know, he has a tree in Australia where he won the tournament 10 times, and he goes and he hugs the tree before every tournament. It's like a spiritual whatever meditation thing that he does. So yeah, go hug a tree. Hug a tree. Hug the Garkad tree, you Jews. Go do it. Wow, this Michael Mahoney. Is this a real person? Can a real person be this autistic, this retarded? I don't know. It's pretty crazy. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, nature on side of Israel. No, but according to Hadith, the nature is not on the side of Israel, right? Because the trees will tell to the Muslims, come, there's a Jew here, come kill him. It's only one specific tree that, the Garkat tree, that is like the betrayer that saves the Jews. It's like a Jewish tree, Trees have spoken to me, then the mushrooms were off. I approve of trees and sentient life in the solar system. Islam does not. My God, this chat is hilarious. Yeah. Because that hadith is hilarious. Hello, friends from Canada, says Noam. And also, there was Yaakov here. Someone wrote, Shalom Canada, says Shimon from Nachlat Yaakov. Shimon Nachlat Yaakov. So, yeah. Noam Hi from Toronto. Okay, so anyway, yeah, I don't know, guys. Anything else you want to ask me before we wrap up this live stream? I do hope, though, good to see if people, okay, I don't know. What do you think about, maybe we'll do a poll. We'll do a poll. Start a poll. Do you approve of Huge fan of your videos, brother, says Emily. Thank you. Huge fan of your videos, says Emre. Thank you. Much appreciated. Who invented hummus, Jews or Muslims? I don't know. You are stellar. Thank you. Do you use Solaris 11 for... Global Folklore Shorts. Hi, Nomad. How are you? I'm good. How are you? Do you give tours in Israel, says Yehuda Naves? At the moment, no. I mean, I had some people reach out to me who wanted me to give them like tours, and I'm willing to do that for a fee, obviously, because it's a day. People can pay me and I can take them around for a day. I've also kind of done some vlogs with people that have visited here, like other vloggers, collabs and stuff. So, that's kind of like a series, right? So I had Egyptian in Israel, I had the British guy in Israel, I had some other people that I collaborated with. So kind of that idea, that format is not bad, right? So British in Israel, it can be Frenchman in Israel, this in Israel. If there's people coming from other countries, we can do that kind of video format, right? Noam says, I enjoy the commentary and the travel videos. Go ahead and mix it up. So yeah, but the thing is, of course, because the commentary videos are so much easier to make, they're going to swamp the travel videos. And this is what I'm concerned about a bit. So yeah, once in a while, there'll be a vlog, but it's going to be buried in between, 10, 15 commentary videos. So I don't know how my supporters or my followers are going to react to that. But we'll see. In the meanwhile, not that well, because the views on those videos is not very high. So obviously it's not reaching, or people are not watching it or whatever. So either we're going to have a transition of the audience, or, So open a second channel. Okay. Just start an additional channel. Okay. So this is, this is an interesting thing. So I'll explain my thought process. My original plan was to open a second channel, okay? I wanted to have one channel for the vlogs and one channel for the commentary. Now, in order to succeed in the commentary and succeed in a big way, I wanted to work with these guys who are helping my channel because they're very good at making thumbnails and titles, and they're the guys who are working with people like Tal and Sahar TV. And I just think like to try to do a channel and not take advantage of their services, which I was able to do because I have the people put me in contact with them, I think was just, would be such a waste because they're just so good at what they do, you know? So I really wanted to work with them because I knew that that would, you know, streamline my road to success. But the problem was that, like, you know, because they have a lot of high-end clients already and everything, they weren't willing to invest in a brand new channel and start building it up from scratch. And it was kind of like, okay, so if I want to work with them, I have to already have an established channel. So I had that option of, so like basically, yeah, I did think about either starting a channel and putting in all that work of doing, you know, doing a second channel and building it up and building up the following and all those things. Or I could, and that could take a lot of time and a lot of work, right? Starting from scratch. I would try to move people over from Insightful Nomad a bit, like share on my community post there, guys, I have a second channel. Okay, guys, this, let's put a timeout. Put user in timeout. Yeah, this Mr. Maloney guy is just trolling. I've had enough. So basically, yeah, so there was a thought of doing that, but it would be difficult. It would take time. And even after the channel was monetized, it would probably not do as well because it didn't have a base already. So, you know, the other option was to try to purchase a channel that's already kind of like monetized. That would cost a significant amount of money. And also there's the whole trouble of connecting your AdSense account to a second channel, to a channel. That's how you get paid. So it's kind of like a thing. Now, to be honest, maybe I didn't do enough to pursue that option because that was my original plan. My original plan was to separate the two things into two separate channels. And now, am I regretting it? Maybe, considering the fact that the transition hasn't worked so well so far. But it's still early days, you know? So if in a month's time, you know, my channel might start to take off and I'll say, okay, I did the right move. But I did like the idea of having it separate. So, you know, because, yeah. So that was my thought process. My thought process is like, yeah, it would be nice to keep it separate, but it would be difficult to build up the new channel from scratch. I didn't have, like I would have to, you know, make a lot of videos on my own doing that or purchase a channel. And it seemed like maybe I was losing an opportunity by going on that route. Noam Sane sent 5 Insightful Nomad gift memberships. That's amazing. So some of you guys got a free membership. That's welcome on board, and hopefully you'll renew your membership when the time comes around. Thanks. The cat lady. So let it build up and then open a new channel. I know you'll be successful, the cat lady. Yeah, but that's the thing. It's like, so to do that would require a lot of work. It would require a lot of work of setting up that secondary channel. So filming, thumbnailing, titling, finding clips, doing all that stuff. And yeah, like I said, maybe you can say I was too lazy. Maybe I didn't try, like at least try, open the channel, see how it goes, and maybe it would work faster than I thought because I have my Insightful Nomad base. Maybe that's what I should have done. I don't know. But yeah. Alec makes my favorite reaction video. Look who's here, Mr. Claddy Clad. Bro, nobody makes reaction videos like you. Nobody makes the white colonizer Zionist prince reaction videos like you, Tal. Tal, I don't know if you guys know about Tal, but Tal has made a name for himself now on Twitter as the brown Jew. I don't know if you guys saw this. But there was like there was Twitter, and then like Tal did another one of his tweets, and then someone was like, oh, look, it's the brown Jew again. I just thought that was hilarious. Especially because in Israel, like half the people are brown Jews, right? So It's kind of, but yeah, it was funny. So yeah, he's doing well, and I saw his videos with the Nazi. Yeah, that was crazy. There was all these Nazis now in the U.S. It was crazy to see the right what was it, the insidious right in the U.S. turning on each other. So basically, I don't know if anyone saw, but on Twitter there was a huge blow up between Nick Fuentes and Candace Owens, who are both raging anti-Semites, right? So the thing was basically the two of them were arguing like who hates the Jews more and who is more of a sellout secret agent, deep state, CIA, blah blah blah, whatever of the state. And like Nick Fuentes is a white supremacist anti-Semite, David Duke style anti-Semite, and Candace Owens is like a black, whatever, different type of anti-Semite, right? So like they were on Twitter like literally going at each other for days, and every tweet was getting like 3 million views. It was like a huge fight between the Jew haters on the right in the U.S. And I mean, I guess like that movement is bound to go in that direction, because when you have all these people who are not serious and are conspiracy theorists to the core, like Fuentes, Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, then naturally they're going to start turning on each other, right? Because I think someone said like, Nick Fuentes said Candace Owens is a CIA agent or whatever, or Tucker Carlson's father is a CIA. I don't remember what it was, but basically you can just say whatever you want on those platforms and people believe you, because if everything is the Jews are behind everything, and you just say that and people believe, so you can also say other crap and people believe, and then they start eating each other, like they eat their own. I just think it's a movement that doesn't have that much of a future, I guess, because it's just so based on conspiracy theory that, at some point it's kind of like, I don't know. I don't see how those different people can create common cause with each other. There's too much that can blow up there. Yeah. Another contribution from Anna. Thank you. Thank you, Anna. How can I help you, says Anna. Just watch the videos, like the videos, share them with your friends, and that's more than enough for me. JC says, I'm the Ashkenazi blonde Jew. I just got all the good genes, olive. He got all the good genes, olive skin, brown eyes. True Birdie Life says, I found your videos from watching Tal's videos. Thanks. Someone says Fuentes is more calculated than others. Don't underestimate. No, you should not underestimate Nick Fuentes. He's very charismatic and good at what he does. So, the fact that someone hates Jews and in a conspiracy theory way accuses them of all the problems in the world doesn't mean that they're stupid or not dangerous or not charismatic. I mean, look at Hitler. That's an example. So yeah, there's a lot of charismatic Jew haters and conspiracy theorists out there, and they're extremely dangerous, and they have big audiences. Yehuda Naves, where's Coco Girl? Yeah, she hasn't posted in a while, but basically, from what I understand, she was in a motorbike accident, and she's recovering, and just like resting up. She's like fine, and she wants to do some like motorbike trips for her vlog, but I haven't really talked to her that much recently, and I don't want to give too much away. I mean, I don't know exactly what she's going to do, but she's going to continue vlogging. That's her plan, from what I understand. But she's just kind of like on a break. Anyway, yeah, we have 37 votes. 92% say yes, 8% say no. But these are the hardcore fans here, so that's easy, right? That girl is too crazy for me to watch. All right, yeah. Splat, Candace has mental issues. I don't know if she has. I don't think she has mental. I think she's a bit of a psychopath. So a psychopath is a person who doesn't have really any conscience or empathy or anything like that. And those people are ultimate grifters, right? They can change and flop from one position to another. They don't care. They can backstab anyone and they don't care. They just don't really have much of a conscience, right? So I think she's like borderline psychopathic, Candace Owens. So she can just change her position in a day, and it won't bother her. She has no conscience about it. But but yeah, that's the deal. It reminds me a bit of Ted Bundy. I don't know if you guys know, that was like the serial killer in the 80s, one of the most famous US serial killers that we ever had, who was like studied by, when he was in jail, psychologists really studied him intensely as like a classic case of a psychopath, because he showed zero remorse for the people that he murdered and the women that he raped. He's like, and in one interview, he just said, "I'm the coldest son of a bitch you've ever met," like that. Like, I just don't care. So that's a classic, like, on a scale of 0 to 100, like 100% psychopath. Someone with zero emotions, just doesn't care. And yeah, some of the commentators are out there are like somewhere on that spectrum of psychopath, that they just, they don't care. They don't care about spewing hatred. They don't care about flip-flopping on their positions. They don't care about lying. They don't care about anything. They just care about their grift. And like, when I see Candace, I do kind of get the feeling she's a bit like that, Sociopaths lack a human conscience. That's what I was saying. Yeah, people with no conscience, and people with no conscience can grift very easily. They can lie. Like, so, like a sociopath can just be like, okay, I'll say this and this lie, and I'll make money, and I don't care. And then somewhere down the road, I might change again, and I don't care. All right, guys. Wait, let me see what happened here with the. I had. It's called acting or politics. Yeah. But there's like a degree of sociopathic behavior. See you in Israel. Thank you. Oh, so yeah, we put my coworkers now, they put up another video of the shooting, right? So you should go watch that, give it a like. And this is the terror attack in Jerusalem. It's my latest video that just went up right now. So I wasn't sure exactly when it was going to go up, and it went up right now, talking about the terror attack. So take a look at that, my friends, for sure. Yoni says I'm running. Alex, thanks for the update. Be well, Info Warrior. Yeah, I think we're gonna wrap this one up. There's a new video up. Check it out. Right now I'm putting out a lot of videos, 3-4 a day. So you got a lot. If you like listening to me, you got a lot of content now. So go ahead and see it. We're gonna end the poll. 38 votes. 92% said they approve of my change. But again, this is the strong followers that I already have. So I don't know how that represents the rest of my audience. But yeah. Hoping for the best. Any updates on your book, says Swedish Girl? Yeah, it's like done. I just need to format it for Kindle, and it's like, this thing is, I'm having, I don't know. I'm messing up with the formatting. I really should get it done. It's basically done. There isn't that much left to do. Just design a cover and yeah, maybe do some pictures inside. I don't know, but like, I'm dragging it out. The book should be out soon, guys. And when I do, there's gonna be like a trailer at the end of all my videos, urging people to buy the book, so, yeah. I'm so proud of you, Alex, says Anna. Thank you. Did you have any writer's block? A little bit, but like now it's done. Omnipotent. Are you saying all the dead civilians are unintentionally killed just by mistake? A lot of them, I would say, yeah. A lot of them. If Israel wanted to intentionally kill civilians, the death toll would be so much higher. But also, like, I've been in the IDF, and so have all my friends and family, most of my family members, so I kind of know what it's like in there, in the units, what the moral code is, what the atmosphere is like, and the general accusation that people in the IDF just go around murdering people for fun is not true. And I know this from personal experience. Also the reserve people, right? So I have a friend, he works in high tech, he's got 3 kids. October 7th happened, they called him in reserve duty, he ended up doing reserve duty for 3-4 months. You think he wanted to do that? He was like, okay, no, I'll leave my job, I'll leave my family so I can go kill people in Gaza. Rather than, this is an emergency case for Israel, it's a life or death situation from our perspective. We have to win the war, we have to get the hostages back, and I'm going to do my duty. And killing civilians randomly in Gaza does not help with that goal. So people are not leaving their whole lives behind so they can get revenge on Palestinian civilians. That's not the case. All right, guys, time to wrap up this live stream. Thank you for joining. Thank you for the supporters. Anna, for a generous contribution. Noam, for buying the memberships for some of the people here. Really appreciate it. I hope you guys get to share my content as well. If you don't have money to support, like with things like Patreon or whatever, just like the videos, comment on them, share them with your friends. Great way to help promote the channel. So yeah, thank you guys, and see you next time. Bye-bye. How do I end this? Okay. Stop streaming.